It's Akshaya Tritiya today, an auspicious day to buy gold. And with gold prices hovering just below the 1 lakh rupee mark for 1 tola, that's 10 grams, yesterday, whether you buy or not, guess who is sure to buy? Central banks of most countries. In it lies a tale of how gold has transitioned in recent years. All of us must have heard the saying of how gold is a safe bet when there is uncertainty in global politics. But now, perhaps it has reached a new high with a new twist. Now, more than Trump's tariffs or anything, perhaps you could say it accelerated with the US sanctions on Russia following Putin's invasion of Ukraine back in 2022. That's when Western powers blocked some 300 billion of Russia's dollar reserves. This made many countries realize the dangers of holding their foreign exchange reserves in US dollars, which incidentally is a practice originally set in stone after the Second World War by the Bretton Woods Agreement. And something that hasn't changed despite anyone from rival powers like Russians or the Chinese or even the oil cartel of the Middle East making an attempt. In fact, remember how recently Trump threatened BRICS nations, that includes India, when they even mulled the possibility of a new common currency to replace the dollar as their de facto standard. Right now, about 60% of the global foreign exchange reserves are still in the US dollar. But get this, gold was the original global reserve way back from the 13th century. Mansa Musa, 14th century ruler of the gold-rich Mali Empire in Central Africa, is widely considered as the richest man ever in history, with a wealth that is today estimated to be worth 43 lakh crore rupees. His pilgrimage from Africa to Arabia in 1324 is said to have crashed the economies of the nations he passed through as he flooded the financial system with gold, which he gifted to all and sundry while traveling. Italian traders like the Medici family in the 15th century used gold as a guarantee to pay lenders. While Britain, the superpower in the 18th century after pioneering the Industrial Revolution, adapted gold as the gold standard, meaning its currency was tied to a fixed cost of the gold. This is something the US too followed suit until President Richard Nixon abandoned it in 1971. But the interesting thing is that gold may have stopped being a global gold standard, but it didn't stop being attractive. As inflation, that's price rise, spiraled in the 1970s, gold became even more valuable, and through the rest of the 20th century, it became a new sort of standard, a hedge against inflation. And come 21st century, gold has moved beyond becoming the common man's safe bet against price rise. Gold today has become inversely proportional to Treasury's 10-year yields, meaning when government-led financial systems take a knock, gold becomes stronger, thus becoming a go-to safe asset to have. For example, when the global financial meltdown of 2008 happened, it saw gold prices hitting $1,000 for the first time, and then again rising to $2,000 when the COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020. And now guess what? With Russia, Ukraine, plus Trump's tariff war threats high in the air, gold actually hit $3,000 for the first time last month. The result? Central banks are stocking up on gold with worries that the dollar may no longer be the safe haven it was until now. A simple statistic proves this. On an average till 2022, that's when the Russian invasion of Ukraine happened and Western powers' sanctions and freezing of Russian dollar reserves happened. Till then, central banks used to buy a total 400 tons of gold average a year. Now, they've been buying up 1,000 tons every year. To give an example, the Reserve Bank of India, which has just about 800 tons of gold reserves, snapped up as much as 60 tons last year alone, making India the second highest buyer of gold in 2024. With gold production stagnant and demand rising, and fears of an uncertain global geopolitical scenario on the anvil in the coming months and years, everyone is turning to the yellow metal for safety and security. Countries, central banks, and even the common man.